Action then from all 8 games coming up over the next hour or so. Michael Owen is our fox in the punditry box this evening. We begin with Manchester United, whose game of 2 halves against Southampton on Sunday encapsulated everything good and less good about their season so far. They only needed a point against PSG to make it through to the knockout stage. David De Gea was fit enough to take his place in goal, with Scott McTominay and Fred providing the protection in midfield. Further forward, it was Rashford, Fernandes and Martial, with PSG old boy Edinson Cavani as the spearhead. No place for United old boys Herrera and Di Maria in the PSG starting 11. Neymar and Kylian Mbappe have been out of sorts in this competition, but are always dangerous. Everton loanee Moise Kean was alongside them in attack. The commentators, Robbie Savage and Darren Fletcher.
Ollie, what do you make of that defeat?
Well, it was a very good game of football, which deserved fans, first of all. 2 teams. When you see the team sheet, you think there might be goals in this game because there's loads of attacking talent, and I don't think anyone were disappointed. Chances for both teams, and of course with a bit of more clinical finishing, we should have finished the game like midway in the second half, because I thought that period they were there for the taking.
Got to say that their 2 goals are scrappy goals. It's ricochet, pinball around the box, and it falls to them, and they've stuck it in the back of the net, and we come away with nothing from the game when I feel like we deserve something from the game.
In the first half, Fred escaped with a red card, do you think, with the headbutt?
Fred shouldn't put his head towards him. I don't think he touched him, but you don't do that. So he's a bit lucky. Yeah, it's either nothing or a red card.
And he got a yellow. It was strange.
Yeah, but you know.
Did you think of taking him off at half time because?
Yeah, and maybe. But Fred has played really well, and he played really well. We spoke about staying calm, staying on your feet, and the second yellow card is nowhere near a foul. So Ander knows that as well. He definitely knows.
Yeah, we go to Leipzig, a good team, we know that, but we performed well here at Old Trafford against them, but we've got to pick ourselves up. We've got a big game Saturday we've got to focus on now and go and get 3 points there, and then we're going to Leipzig full of confidence. I'll pick the lads up, and I'm sure the gaffer will as well, and we know that we can take plenty of positives out of tonight, but ultimately we've come up short. And playing for Manchester United, that's not good enough to get beat on your own patch, so we're disappointed for sure, but we've got to take the positives and move on to Saturday.
These games against PSG and Leipzig at home, it showed how much we've developed. I think the team has developed in these types of games, and just about some finishing today, and then we'd be smiling.
Well, after all of that, as you can see, Manchester United at the moment still top of Group H, but whilst they still only need a point, they now need that point at Leipzig next week, a team they did beat at Old Trafford. A point will certainly do for PSG. That is all it will need for them. But obviously, if Manchester United come unstuck next week, they will be eliminated at the group stage. I don't ever quite know what to make of this Manchester United. I feel like I'm tossing a coin, even within a game, let alone what's going to happen next week.
I think that's a fair assessment. I actually thought they played well tonight, and if they continue playing like that, then they'll pick up more points than not. They had a lot of good chances. It was a good game. It was an open game. I was pretty impressed that even at 1-1 after, a fair old chunk of the second half, they were still going forward despite only needing a point. And then, of course, they got a man sent off as well, which didn't help, and that then almost blunted their chances of getting something out of the game. But it was a good game, and on another day with a bit more clinical finishing, they would have got something. Yeah.
Went behind. PSG were good last week, weren't they, in the win against Leipzig, and they started with an intent tonight.
Well, PSG are similar to Manchester United in a way. You don't know what you're going to get out of them either. They've got some really talented players. There's a well-worked goal. A bit of luck there, deflection, and you don't really expect him to score from that angle. David De Gea could have got his body shape in a better way, maybe, but that's an unlucky break, let's say. But they didn't half bounce back and scored a good goal themselves.
Well, they did, yeah. Obviously, that early blow, particularly with Neymar and Mbappe looking so sharp. But Rashford again, as he so often is. Yeah. I mean, Paris must absolutely hate the sight of him because, again, he comes to the rescue.
I mean, you'd get teams like this that you just can't stop scoring against. And of course, it was a bit of a lucky deflection for the first goal to go into the path of Neymar. And there was another lucky deflection. Manchester United, so it was almost one apiece in terms of luck. I think the goalkeeper would have saved that. But it definitely looked like it was going on target. So you've got to credit it to Rashford. But that really got them back into the game, got them believing again with a little bit of time before half-time.
Yeah, indeed, and obviously concerned about his ongoing shoulder problem. But whilst it was at 1-1, as you rightly say, United went a little bit for the jugular. Maybe that's the better to manage a game, but they had real chances.
They did. This was brilliant play from Cavani, and you wonder with Martial, he's actually, all that Manchester United are really, in terms of you don't know which Martial's going to turn up. Sometimes he blows you away with his performances, and sometimes he's very average. This is lovely movement from Cavani. Always difficult to chip a goalkeeper when the ball's running away from you, but he does pretty much as good as he can. That layoff, I mean, you've got to have a look at that and say it's just different class from Fernandes. But that was brilliant, great effort. And then I just love the layoff. Martial, can he be a little bit more? You are only 8 or 9 yards out. Do you have to smack it? Can you pick a little spot? Especially when goalkeeper, defenders are flying at you. Take your time, just be composed in front of goal. I don't think power's going to win the day in that situation. But anyway, another big chance for Manchester United.
Yeah, which they paid for. We'll come to Fred. We haven't forgotten about his night, which was complicated to say the least. But the winner, again, there's a bit of good fortune about it, a bit of persistence from PSG.
There is, yeah. I mean, they keep the ball in the box. A bit of bad luck as well from Manchester United's point of view. He's nearly offside. There's a couple of players in there, but Wan-Bissaka's just playing him on, and Cavani there at the back. Nice little ball into the middle where it's dangerous. But of course, it was a shot that went wrong, but they did recycle it well. And frustrating for the Manchester United defence to concede off a set piece.
Fred, could have gone off twice before he eventually leaves the field with the second yellow, because should have perhaps seen a red card for the headbutt or the head movement, and then perhaps should have been substituted by Ollie.
Mistakes all round, really. I mean, it was a red card. It was not much, but come on, you're a grown man now. You don't have to do these petulant little things to put your team at risk. I mean, cool, if I was a manager and one of my players did this, just pure petulance, then I would, he wouldn't play for me again. It's just pathetic. You're not even hurting the guy. You just, and this is even more astounding. It's either nothing or it's a red card. I think that's fine. I don't think that's a yellow card. I mean, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got to be watching at that point thinking, right, he's made a bit of a name for himself here in front of the referee. Even that I didn't think was a second yellow card. But overall, you have to say the first challenge, the first sort of movement of the head towards, I think he gets the ball fair and square. I don't think it's dangerous. When he's made himself aware to him throughout the match, I blame Fred for the sort of head movement, and the rest of it I blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's got to go for these tackles. He's a centre midfielder, for crying out loud. So the manager has to protect him and protect the team in that situation. So both to blame for me.
Yeah. The good news, I suppose, in a way, from the other game for United looking into next week is that Leipzig, whilst they are a goal threat, are also quite vulnerable. But I suppose, just to wrap up the PSG game, the goal at the end, it doesn't make a lot of difference. Yes, it finishes the game on the night. There's no chance of a point after this, but they really still only need the point from the two games.
Exactly, yeah. They still need they needed a point from 2 games going into this game, and this was, they're going to get 2 bites of the cherry. They failed this time. This is a frustrating goal because they're on the attack. They're trying to get the equaliser. I'm not sure. Just have a look at Harry Maguire. I'm always unsure. He's got his man in the middle here. I don't understand why defenders just run back onto the line. It's almost like a safety valve. Look, just stand with your man. It's men that score, not spaces or anything else like that. So if you stay with your man, then he just clears that. It's virtually impossible that the lad's going to score from that angle, Raphael. And it's almost an innate sort of trait to run home, get onto the line. It's safer. But I think if he just stays on his man, he doesn't concede. But as you say, it didn't really matter in the end. Late
goals in the other game. We thought Başakşehir had rescued an unlikely point with a Kvetchi hat-trick.
And as I say, goalkeeper, it doesn't look right. When a goal goes in, you just think, no, that doesn't look right. And I think that he's just too far off his line.
So, since we don't know what's going to happen next week, it seems daft to ask, but for what it's worth, I can't see a 0-0. United are going to have to score, aren't they, to get a point or better in Leipzig?
Well, to me, it's Paris Saint-Germain are going to go through. So it basically looks like a shootout between Leipzig and Manchester United. Both teams can score. Both teams concede. They look vulnerable. But watching that game tonight, watching Leipzig tonight, I don't think United should go to Germany in fear. They played well tonight, and I think they'll score goals in Germany. So I still fancy United to get either a draw or a win to see them through. But they've made it very difficult for themselves.
That's how we like it. Scenic route.